Well, I think the main problem with Doom 3 was like they didn't have anything new, no new
No.
ways to scare you, so it was just the same crap over and over.
Yeah, kind of. The problem was also that they were sort of relying that having it in the dark was going to scare your pants off. But you can have it dark and it's a little bit creepy. But if you don't like do something with the darkness, it's never gonna be scary.
Yeah, I don't think they did enough with it. Like I think it was in Shattered Memories, and there's a couple of games where they did it. BioShock did this too, where you're standing in the middle of a spotlight
Yeah,
and you're in a large room that's completely pitch black, and you know there's
yeah,
enemies out there, but you don't know when they're going to come.
yeah. I think
I
Doom did it as well at some point.
see. I think that kind of stuff is interesting, but you
Mm.
can't build a game around it.
No, you definitely
you
can't do
know.
that. It sort of sucks when they do that, but what choice do we have? That we're not making the games. Well, not yet, anyway.
No, that's for later. But
Yeah, when we grow up or become older, I suppose we'll have to change that by making our own games. Yay! And
well,
scaring the pants off ourselves.
yes, we have to scare ourselves, and if we scare ourselves, then we have a winning
Probably
game.
scare the everyone else. So,
Yes,
yeah,
and see that's part of the thing too is I I played the Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth,
yeah.
and that's a first person shooter, and I don't know, it doesn't do horror very well either, really. Like
No, I think it did
not
in the
as big, not
beginning,
particularly.
but
And yeah, the beginning it did, but then towards the end, you got like a laser rifle, and it stops being scary. But
yeah,
but yeah, people saying on the videos I made for that where it was like, this is really sad. Where this is like the best adaptation of horror from like H.P. Lovecraft,
yeah.
and it's this. So
I haven't played all the adaptations of Lovecraft, so I can't really say. But
well,
uh,
there's lots of movies and stuff too, and they're
well, I did play an old adventure game, Lovecraftian adventure game. God, what was the name of that awful adventure game?
oh god, it was
You
bad.
like
Okay,
you started on a sub, and then like you had to like do something with a crate and block it in and stuff like that. Not very good. No.
see, that's what I don't know. Maybe this goes back to what we had last week, where it's like the guys who are making the games just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
It's
Uh, yeah. I'll
I
let
don't
you
know.
continue. So.
It's like they have this medium that should be really amazing for scaring people because it puts you in first person and all of the stuff that's scary is like right in your face.
Yeah.
But then they just kind of like ruin it by making everything too clear cut and explained, and then making it like, I know it's a first person shooter, but you don't have to
Shoot all
have
the time.
yeah, you don't have to have like go to point A, fight waves of baddies, go to point B, fight waves of baddies, like a lot of the horror games end up doing.
Yeah. Exactly. At least the FPS games do. Silent Hill was good at that. That you didn't have to fight the baddies. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh, but it's kind of detrimental to the whole horror thing when you say they like lock you in a room and then they just keep sending bad guys in. That's not very scary at all.
no, and that's like a game I got recently when Steam was having one of their massive sales. Clive Barker's Jericho.
Yeah, I know which I haven't played it, but I've heard of it.
That game was supposed to be, from what their advertising said anyway, it
Yeah,
was supposed to be a really scary game. But it ended up falling into that trap too of where it was just walk 10 feet down the hall, fight another wave of bad guys,
yeah,
walk another 10 feet down, there's another wave, blah 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 blah.
yeah,
It just got boring and repetitive, and it stopped
yeah,
being. It never started being scary because it started out with that pretty much.
yeah. It never stopped being scary because it didn't, never started being scary.
Yeah,
So
but it was supposed to be a horror game, and the story itself lended itself to being a horror story. They just didn't do it.
do it. They just didn't do it very well, which is a shame.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what's sad is like Silent Hill games like Silent Hill. I guess the Resident Evil, if you're sufficiently scared by that stuff. Uh, um, I was gonna say Fatal Frame, but that's played a lot in first person, so that kind of helps it.
Yeah, I never
But
really liked the Fatal Frames games, but I've never been into Japanese horror really.
yeah,
So
that's a different kind of thing. But
yeah, it is.
well, let's stick with Silent Hill then.
Yeah, I
uh,
like Silent Hill. I actually played Origins, and I actually had a pretty positive view of it. I'm not saying it was a good game, uh, but I think it's
yeah,
a little bit harsh to call it a really bad game. Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe we should stop talking about Silent Hill because that's an entire different topic. But the first two games, good horror. The
yeah.
games after that, not so good horror.
Mm, well, I think that's part of it. Is like a lot of what you need for horror is for people to buy into it,
Yeah,
to feel like it's really happening or it's realistic. And I think a big part of that is having the characters in the game be people that you care about or you can relate to somewhat.
yeah. They definitely have to be approachable. Which is why a lot of horror FPS like Fear fail in my eyes because I'm not this muscular testosterone adrenaline junkie who can slow down time and wield 6,000 different machine guns. I'm not that person, so I can't really approach him and sort of feel like, yeah, I could be this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well,
that's a bit.
maybe that is why the FPS genre is not doing well for that. It was because you have to be like to fight legions of monsters. You have to be some big muscle bound freak guy,
Yeah.
and nobody is. And most of the time, they make him a silent protagonist too.
Yeah, which is even worse. I hate silent protagonists.
So it's like it's so hard to identify with people or to buy into the setting or immerse yourself in the game. So it never
Yeah,
really comes across
absolutely.
as scary.
But I mean, at the same time, Penumbra, again, I love those games because they really proved that horror in first person view, we probably shouldn't say first person shooters, but it really does work in first person view. It does. So it's a big shame that more companies don't try it like they did. I forgot what their name is. I suck.
I don't know either, so I'm no better. I don't guess.
No, but
I
I
should
should
know it.
know. I'm Swedish, so I should definitely know it.
Man,
Uh,
oh yeah, you're right. They're your people, man. You must
yeah, I
know these
know. I
things.
should. That's the good thing about having a computer and frictional games.
Frictional.
Frictional games.
Okay.
Yes, that's their call. Yep, they're from Helsingborg. Go Wikipedia.
All right.
So yeah,
No.
but it proves that it works. It just shows that too many companies are too scared to take the risk of not having like 90% of it being shooting because shooting is not necessary really.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just because they want to sell the game to people, so you have to have killing monsters in it. I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know, but
I don't know either because well, I guess they're spreading the game way too thin. They really are.
mm,
Which is a big shame because horror is a good genre if you do it right. Unfortunately, most games do not.
unfortunately, but we're coming up on the end here. I think.
Yeah, I guess so.
So,
That's our thoughts about horror games, I guess.
what's the good elements that we were talking about? Being able to immerse yourself by having characters that you can identify with and
Absolutely, and
empathize
letting
with.
the yeah, absolutely. The characters are of course very important. If you don't have good characters in a horror game, you don't have a good game. Or you don't have a good horror game. That's basically the gist of that. I also think that it's important to let the player sort of think things through himself. If that makes any sense, he has to like think about it. He can't just be told this is why you're supposed to be scared.
Yeah, this monster's scary because it's from hell. Like
Yeah,
oh,
it has
oh,
tentacles coming out of its mouth. It's scary. Ooh. You can't
yeah.
really do that.
So not trying too hard to make everything like to explain everything and make like I don't know, trying too hard to explain all of your monsters and stuff. I guess is
Yeah,
what I'm going with.
it's not necessary either. I mean, we know they're monsters, and telling us exactly who they are sort of detaches us from them as well. Because then we really have an explanation of who they are, and we just go, yeah, well, okay, that's thanks for telling us that, I guess. Because it's sort of supposed to represent our own fears, and then you sort of say like, yeah, they come from a different dimension, and then like, oh, they're not a representation of my fear then. So we sort of lose the fear for them in that way.
Well, some other reviewer, I can't remember who it was talking about that, and they said that the big part to monsters was supposed to be that they're inhuman.
Yeah.
That they aren't human beings, so you can't identify with them or understand them, and that's kind of what makes them scary. And I really buy into that thinking in the terms of horror.
Yeah, I wish more people thought of it, but okay. Other things about horror games that make them good, the music, obviously, but...
Oh yeah, the sound for sure.
Yeah, that's also something people do, they do it the wrong way. And that's... they don't incorporate music and sound from the beginning. They do it way too late in production, and then it's sort of just tacked on, so it doesn't work as well.
Yeah, and they really need to kind of be thinking of creating music that creates the right ambience from the get-go.
Absolutely, and then you like, what sounds do the monsters make? Are we supposed to relate to that, or are they supposed to be alien? That sort of thing, and you have to think about that already in the design phase.
Well, they need to think about that, they need to start thinking about that like the Silent Hill series does, because they have that one guy, I can't remember his name right now, who's done no, the guy who's done the sound for every single Silent Hill game.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember him right now.
But he is amazing at it. And they need to get more people like him on this stuff. But something too I wanted to talk about that I've lost. I've lost it. Oh no. Oh, the horrible. Oh yeah, I remember now. Another thing horror, the genre in general needs to think of is jump scares don't count as horror. You can't just have
get rid of them, please.
Yes, you can't have a story full of jump scares and say, yeah, this is a horror movie or a horror game.
It's too bad that they do that. I mean, one or two jump scares is okay, but when they're sort of basing it on just jump scares, it really brings you out of the game. To at least me. I know there's a lot of people who really, really don't like jump scares because they get really scared by them. But let's just say that I don't get scared by them.
Well, as I said, I'm easily startled. They'll startle me every time, but I will not be scared at any point. I will just start to get mad.
There's a huge difference between being startled and being scared. So, game designers who are listening to this, stop that shit right now. Movie makers too, don't do that anymore. Please, God. Go back to the Kubrick ways.
Yeah, create an atmosphere, use interesting camera angles and, shadowy scenes and good music. But jump scares are... No.
Oh, and the monsters do not need to be on display all the time.
Even if you do have the best CG team.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, monsters are supposed to be scary, and the more you see of them, the less scary they are. So drop that shit right now, please.
Oh, man, but... That's all I had to say. I think I'm done after all this.
Yeah, I think that. I don't think we talked as much about horror as we intended to do. But I suppose that's sort of the point with freeform podcasting.
Yeah, I'm gonna do stuff, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be back again in 2 weeks, I guess.
Yes, 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks' time, just like this time, and. You know the name of the show? It's...
Let's Podcast.
Yay!
LP.
LP, yes, LP for short. And we have different segments now as well, like Let's Review, Let's Listen, Let's Talk. Okay, so maybe not, but...
that might be going a little overboard. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, over the top, but I like over the top. Anyway, look forward to that. It's my turn to decide the rant for that time. So... Yes. Be very, very sure that it's going to be retro. I'm going to talk about retro games and old games in general. So. Oh,
good. That's mostly what I'm into right now. So. All right.
Yeah, I know, yeah. When you don't have a lot of money, it tends to be what you go for. Strange how that works.
all the old games I have, I'm playing those now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So see you then, I guess.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.